So I'm in the middle of a collaboration, and I just got home from vacation, and I'm in the middle of filming the next Mona installment, so a lot of stuff going on right now. Plus it's exams week, which makes it 10 times harder for me in life anyway. But I thought for a little bit and I was like, I want to get a video up for you guys, but what can I make a video about? I have a collab that I'm working on, but that's one central idea. I kind of want something more a bit, I guess, diverse. Basically, I'm going to challenge a few people at the end of this, but we're going to call it the Film Fan Favorites. The FFF. So I have this challenge idea, and the challenge is to list 3 of your favorite directors, or 3 directors that inspire you. And just give off a few reasons as to why you enjoy them, and why they mean so much to you, and why they inspire you as a film fan or a filmmaker. Because Lord knows I have so many of those. And you might think that's a bit easy, but here's the catch. One of those directors has to be either controversial or universally kind of panned, and you have to pick one director like that speaks to you, even though they can't speak to the majority of people or a certain group of people. So first off, I'm going to list my favorite directors, and then the controversial director, and then I'm gonna name the people that I'm challenging to do this as well. So number 1, who is one director that really inspires me? And that's gonna have to go to Christopher Nolan. Ever since I was a kid, I enjoyed Christopher Nolan's movies. It started out with the Dark Knight trilogy and Batman Begins and all of that jazz. But as I got older, I also saw Inception, I saw Memento, my favorite, The Prestige. My friend, who's actually a big Christopher Nolan fan as well, actually saw Interstellar with me, and we cried. I'm not joking, I actually cried in Interstellar when Matthew McConaughey sees the videos of his family that they've left for him throughout the years. And I know that it's been memed to death by this point, but between you and me, I still think it's a pretty heartfelt scene. And what stands out to me about Christopher Nolan, and I'm just gonna bottom line it here, he's just a great storyteller. And of course, I'm just gonna say it, I know it's kind of fanboying here, but I think this is best showcased in the Dark Knight trilogy, where we see one character grow throughout the course of 3 films into the character that we know and love and have loved for years. This guy knows how to make stories that captivate you, inspire you, and basically just engulf you into this world that he's created. I mean, the man's made a film about dreams that's been incredibly captivating. He's made a film series about Batman, which was great and groundbreaking and brought the character back into pop culture. There's just something about how the Nolan brothers, but Christopher Nolan takes his visuals and his story and perfectly balances them out, because you have enough spectacle to balance the sense and the story, and Nolan's a very smart man. There's no way around that. Fact of the matter is, though, is that he can take a really smart story and make it as simple for the common man to view, and just make a really, really great film. And that's what movies should do. They should captivate us and inspire us, and Nolan just does that perfectly. He's done that for years for me, and he's still doing it today. I can't wait to see Dunkirk. Fact of the matter is, Christopher Nolan's a great storyteller, and there's so many reasons and so much depth as to why I love him as a director, and why he reaches me personally on so many levels. But who's my all-time favorite director? And I know some of you already know this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. My all-time favorite director is J.J. Abrams. There's no way around that. Ever since I was a kid, I've loved this guy. And even now, just putting Star Wars aside, because you guys know I'm kind of a big fan of that little small independent franchise. Putting Star Wars aside, J.J. Abrams knows how to make a really good story and pay tribute to the stuff of the past that inspired him as well. Like in Super 8, where he pays homage to the classic alien invasion films and stuff like that, to even something like Cloverfield, to where he pays tribute to the giant monster films like King Kong and Godzilla, but puts it in a more modern setting with a different outlook in the film. Everything in Cloverfield shot through a camera. We only see the monster when the dude sees it through his video camera. That's a really clever idea and integrates 2 different forms of filmmaking into one big film, and it just goes to show that you can tell a big story in little ways. Having been a filmmaker for many, many years now, and now is where it's kind of really taking off, I can go ahead and tell you that for me as a broke college student, it's really hard for me to tell one big story in a small way, because I feel so restricted with my budget and my camera and my equipment and actors and so on. But J.J. Abrams proves me wrong with this all the time and says, you know what, you don't have to have this equipment. Just go out and make a film with your friends. Tell the story that you want to tell. The fact of the matter is that you're doing it. And that's what's important. I don't know if I would be as into film and into filmmaking now if it weren't for J.J. Abrams, because that man's films have inspired me in so many ways. And that's what J.J. Abrams does. The man doesn't have any Oscars to his name from my knowledge now, but J.J. Abrams has made a massive impression on both the entertainment industry and pop culture and filmmakers alike by doing these different projects here and there. And if you thought his film record was impressive, oh, then you haven't seen his TV record. And last but not least, who is that one controversial director that inspires me, but doesn't necessarily reach everybody else on the same note, I guess you could say? And for me, that's Zack Snyder, no competition. And I know that whenever you say Zack Snyder's name, it comes with a very negative connotation because of Batman v Superman and comic book movies in general now, but I think that saying the man's not talented is really cutting him short. And I know the main argument is, well, yeah, his visuals rock, but he doesn't have a good story, but that's where I disagree. Now, I'm not going to say that the man's a genius or anything like that, but what I am going to say is he's a very talented guy that knows how to operate a camera, and I think that his visuals kind of blend into his story, which makes for an overall really different and exciting experience. But I like Zack Snyder, visuals aside, because his story and his characters all suffer from one thing: consequence. And that's not a bad thing. I like seeing the repercussions to an action taken in a film, and I think that whenever you see that on screen, that you can be a hero, but heroes can also be kind of reviled and pushed away in a way that we haven't seen before, is a very interesting concept and idea. Now, that's not going to resonate with everybody, but I like seeing flawed heroes, and heroes who aren't your, cookie cutter, perfect heroes. Save the world, yay. And I know that this isn't going to resonate with everybody, but I think that Snyder takes all of these ideas and puts them together to form these really interesting stories that I can really appreciate and admire. And the thing is, even if I don't like one of his films on the first going, the more I watch Snyder's films, the more stuff I always get out of it. And sometimes that's for the better, sometimes that's for the sucker punch. I think that there's a lot of stuff to admire about Zack Snyder. I wouldn't necessarily call him the next Kubrick or anything, Grace Randolph, but what I would say is that he's a very talented guy and knows how to work a camera and tell a really interesting story with captivating characters. Let's see, I want to challenge Cinema Studios, I want to challenge Houston Productions 1, I want to challenge Chance on Twitter to do this, and I guess that's it. That's really who I'm going to challenge for now. But if you want to hop in on this as well and list the directors that you admire, I'd love to hear them, and I know a lot of other people would too, so let me know and just link me the video. I'll check it out and be sure to give you guys a like. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm FrameByFrame. Remember the name. Have fun with the challenge, guys, and I'll see you in the next FrameByFrame film review.